In my project, I'm trying to show how we project pieces of ourselves, fragments onto the web, on social media and different platforms, and how those little fragments are perceived by other people. They use this one fragment to build a whole identity about us. And in return, we also perceive those fragments and we try to apply them onto ourselves. So we are projecting something, just a part of something, and then we're receiving this part and we're trying to adapt to it. So that's why I made 3D models of faces that have been reshaped, and then I use face tracking and projection mapping to take a video of the visitor face and project it onto those 3D sculptures. Anna's work was very interesting because she's also using ferrofluid and magnets, and she's showing climate change, which is something that I'm interested in. Yeah, we would talk a lot about our works and all the trials that are going on.
The 2 weeks were very intense, but it was very, very good to have the space to experiment. My work is very speculative, so to have these 2 weeks just to try different things, different techniques. Also the collaboration with Sally was very, very important to me. The project that I submitted for Halaqat had to do with climate migrations and how migratory displacement will be something that will happen, it's bound to happen. And I would like to represent that on a map using ferrofluid and electromagnet forces, which are a force of the universe and also a force that drives our digital technology.
The bottle is full of acetone?
No, it's just water, just plain water, yeah. But this works. The initial idea that I had, so taking ferrofluid from audio tapes, is kind of working. We will have ferrofluid made out of Elvis Presley, so it's going to be fun.
So when I got the good news that I was selected for the project, I was very excited, but then I also had to acknowledge to myself my very little knowledge of the cultural links and exchange between Europe and the Arab world. This matter, to me, it was more about the influence from Arabic culture to European, at least until 19th century. And then the way history was constructed later and the dominant narratives were chosen, very often overlooked a lot of contributions, examples, and it was making them less apparent. So when I started my research, I was looking a lot into lost discoveries and earlier discoveries of Arabic culture. And one of the things I was very much fascinated with was the invention of algebra and the algorithm, for the reason that is really fundamental for technological advancements and our contemporary culture. And one of the meanings of algebra from Arabic al-jabr means bone setting. So I started looking at different bones, and the one that I decided to work with, it's called sphenoid bone, and it's very fundamental for human vision. And then within my process, I arrived looking at Dune, the 2021 film. To a very big extent is influenced of Islam and Arabic culture and language. But it seemed that there was a certain cultural misrepresentation, or not enough representation. The piece is called Unrendered Prop, and I think of it as a prop that could have been or could eventually be used in the film.
It was a very frustrating incident, but I think I came up with something out of it. I think this is actually what kind of like eventually led me to do this project, because it's very paper oriented, or something that it needs to be marked and signed by the government. So the project I've worked on, it's called Right-Handed World, and I'm focusing on creating a speculative manifesto, and this one is the number one. It's about the inheritance law in Egypt. It speaks or talks about that men inherit twice the share of women if they were equally related. Although women in Egypt contribute financially equally and many are even the breadwinner for the family, certain laws still seem to be fixated on certain ideologies without any signs of amendment. The installation took the embodiment of a scale in which I believe it is a representation of law. In FabLab, I had the opportunity to 3D print hands and coins. And once you enter into the installation, you will find a stand that explains what you are voting for if you're choosing the left and, of course, if you're choosing the right. And depending on your gender in the situation, for example, if you're a man, you'll find that your coin is double the size of a woman's coin because it kind of like represents the power behind a man's vote, for example.